Are banks created to help people or are banks created to make money?
Oh, they're created to make money. Oh, I see that very clearly. Definitely not to help people. And still to this day, I think
Is it any different today?
It's no way.
It's worse.
It's even worse. Because now they're taking all the banks out of the communities, right? To really, need to have personal bankers and to do banking. Right. So no, it's definitely not.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Evolve Your Brand podcast. I'm your host, Olia Merkis. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to the people that make this magic happen. Mm-hmm. Icon Industries, Shane times 3, because you love yourself that much that you have to have 2 other people here named Shane. Steven, without your genius, buddy, I don't know what to say. This magic wouldn't happen. And the rest of the people at Icon Industries, got love for you. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to have Consuela Hopkins, the owner at the Good Money Multiplier.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And you don't live here full time.
I do not live here full time, no.
But you wish you did.
I wish I did.
Right? That's what we do in San Diego. Where are you originally from?
I am from South Bend, Indiana.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. The Fighting Irish.
The Fighting Irish. Notre Dame territory is what I say. Yes.
Notre Dame, territory? Like, it's got to be, it's a religion there, right?
Yeah, it has its own little city. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
Did you grow up in South Bend?
I did.
You did?
Born and raised.
No.
Yes. Not too many people say that, but I am born and raised. Mm-hmm.
Really? Okay, so what is fascinated? What is the number one thing, having grown up there, what would most people be shocked about South Bend?
Ooh, what would most people be shocked about South Bend? Ooh. I would say the thing that people would be shocked about with South Bend is just really how many amazing people are in South Bend. Yeah, Midwest, we got some good folks. I've been blessed to travel the world. I've lived for years, 6 months in Indiana, 6 months in Florida. My husband's from Florida. So we had the best of both worlds for our children. I was homeschooling 2 at the time. And when I would hire other people from different parts of the world, it was just something about the work ethic, something about just the hometown grit, that I found that Midwest people have. So that would be something I would definitely.
You're a champion of the Midwest.
Champion of the Midwest.
It's different when you travel the Midwest.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. One of the things in my company, I have an accounting firm as well. So Consuela Accounting and Tax, I am a serial business owner. And for 30 years, one of the things I train my team, we have corporate SOPs, if you will. Like our framework is corporate, right? We're about business, be in order. But the heart of the company, I say it's like Cheers. When you come into the office, everybody knows your name, right? Because we want that hometown feel. A lot of things are going to computers nowadays. A lot of people are doing, which we are too, we're a virtual accounting firm now, but we still want to make sure you get that personal feeling. And you don't get that everywhere. And I know that's a benefit of who we are and what we are.
Okay. Consuela, in this world of artificial intelligence, there's so much conversation about it. How come connection and relationships matter?
How come?
Yeah.
Well, I think they matter because that's when you really get to know the person. And the more and more I find people that's looking in their phones, right? They're not even looking and talking to one another anymore. But the more and more you see that, the more and more I feel like we got to make sure we're connecting. We got to know, because people is what matters no matter what. People is what matters. This is why we get up in the morning, live a better life for our children's children, right? And if we disconnect now, what does that look like for them? You know what I mean? And I don't know, I've been blessed that I don't meet a stranger, right? And I tend to find, even when people are rough around the edges, by the time they're done with me, they're smiling when they leave.
No doubt about it. You meet this young lady, your energy is going to be like, boom, I'm getting ready for a show. Where does that come from for you? Like, how you grew up in South Bend, you shared a little about like your family, and I wanted to save it. Where does this love for people come from?
For me, again, back to my grandparents, my grandfather, my great grandmother, just beautiful people. My mom and dad, they're just good-hearted people. And what I'm also thankful for is that we were raised also to serve the Lord, right? And that in itself, when I read the Word of God, and it just really shows how to treat people. And I test everything to know me, right? I'm testing it. So I would literally test the things that I would read, and it worked out, right? Like, a soft voice turns away wrath. Practicing that brought so much peace. And so the more and more I tried those things, the more and more peaceful my world became, right? Not perfect, oh my God, by any means, or without trials. But it definitely helped for me to know that I'd rather do right, treat people right, but respect and love versus the other side of that. And it works for me. So
it's healthier too.
And it's healthier.
So give me a story that something that you took from the book that you applied. Give me a story of that where it was really, really hard. You said things were hard. Get it.
Go. So I could definitely start with a recent experience, very devastating. And now on this side of it, I call it my tragedy to triumph situation. About 2.5 years ago now, I had the opportunity to take my team, not my entire team, but half the team stayed back. Half we flew out to Arizona. We're in Vegas to record like 300 videos for a project we had been working on. Phenomenal. I mean, for me to be this little black girl from South Bend, Indiana, to fly out her entire team, right, to for business. We had an Airbnb. I mean, we just had it all worked out. Everything was planned. We were ready with our script, and we were just ready. And so we showed up at the studio for an entire week, recorded the videos, which actually was a community project, and finished on Friday. We celebrated. We were happy, excited. And for Saturday morning, I went to look for my phone, and I asked, my husband was there, and I asked him, I said, you see my phone? I got to call Amira. And he was like, honey, I need you to sit down. I'm like, I will in just a moment. Let me call Amira. Amira's my youngest daughter, who normally would have been there, but she was in college and just had a little baby, so she just couldn't travel with us. And he says, honey, with that look, I need you to have a seat. And when I tell you, something in his tone then got my attention. And unfortunately, he told me that our youngest daughter, 20, was killed by a drunk driver going 105 miles per hour. Just, a few hours before that. So devastating. And to live life like I live life. My grandfather's 93. I haven't had a lot of experience with death. We have longevity in our lives, and so that hit in a way that I didn't know if I was going to ever have to come back. But one of the things in the Word of God that I held on to, the Word says the Lord will bless those, He will comfort those that mourn. Comfort those that mourn. Now, many times I've been on the other end of that when someone is mourning, that I'm there for them. So this time it meant a whole different, and I clinged to that word because I didn't know how to smile, right? I felt it was just so devastating on so many levels. And so I held on to it. He will comfort those that mourn. Lord, I need you to comfort me. And when I tell you He did, there were things that would just happen or moments that I knew it was Him comforting me. And I held on to that through all the things you go through with grief, through the anger, through the disbelief, through all of it, right? And it was challenging, and I would have never thought, 2 years from now, 2 years later, I should say, that I would even be able to be here speaking this without falling apart, right? Because He comforted me in ways that only a higher power could. I mean, comfort in my heart, comfort in so many things. And then the blessing of it is now, we're raising Amira's she's 3 now, 3-year-old daughter, Empress. And the joy that we get from her, is amazing, because I even see in that, never, ever since the day that baby was born, have they been apart. Never. They're always together. But that day, she had got someone to watch her. That day, she had someone watch the baby, so the baby wasn't in the car with her. So, so that in itself brought comfort. And so you just look at things like that. But man, we call our tragedy to triumph moment, because, man. And so for me, coming out here, I was in the desert, remember? So then 2 weeks after that, I was supposed to, thank you, go to Dubai to speak on generational wealth. Dubai had been on my, our vision board and to-do list for, at least a couple years. I'm going to Dubai. Right after that, someone calls and said, I want you to come into Dubai and speak on how to build generational wealth. And so again, I was going through something, because I was on business. I was in the desert, so honestly was it me? Was I trying too hard? Did I want, was this because of something that I was trying to achieve that was outside of my realm? I mean, I went through all of this, and, but the Spirit spoke to me because I was serious. Like, I need to know. And within my soul, the Spirit said, this had nothing to do with you. This was between me and Amira at her time. And I need you to go and shine like I made you to be. So I got up. I went to Dubai, had a beautiful, beautiful time healing in the desert. Oh, it was beautiful. And then I came back and here we are. So, but every time, I got to be real, every time I do come this way, going into a desert, it triggers me, right? To remember the moment, that I would never see my baby girl again, in the flesh, right? Never be able to see that smile, all those dreams we had for her. She wanted to be a doctor, I recall, and she was phenomenal in my accounting firm, so she worked as the accounting clerk. And so, yeah, but that was a few moments where holding on to what I read in that book, made the difference in my life between being here sane and alive and happy and peaceful, or being crazy and a loony bin, because, man, experience like that will drive you crazy. Oh, my gosh. So, yes.
I don't even know what to say.
Wow. Yeah.
I have 3 kids. I could never.
It's
like, I have chills right now because
you can never imagine it.
I don't think as a parent, like, you don't want to ever. Never. I mean, you don't want to imagine it. And even it's something you just can't even, there's no words to describe it. Truly, a parent is not supposed to, bury a child. It's just, everything about it is just out of order. You know what I mean? So, and then so just really trying to make some sense out of it and seeing the lesson and the beauty, like it, because again, I was raised and my motto has always been count it all joy. No matter what it is, count it all joy. And so I got lost the other day. And I'm already thinking, oh man, I'm going to be late for a meeting, right? This is me showing up. I'm going to be late for this meeting, and so then you start wondering, like, all right, Father, I'm trying to do more. I'm daring to come out of my comfort zone in ways that even my entire family and everyone I know in my community and around me is like, you've done enough. What else are you trying to do? And I'm like, I'm just here to answer the call. And whatever it is that I need to do to show up and let people know that you can be a good person. You could be a good person. And if your spiritual man is in order and your financial man, oh, you're beautiful. I mean, that's a beautiful person. That's synergy.
That's synergy, right? And so I want to show up like that. And so when I got lost, now I know I'm going to be late for this meeting. And before I could even start, just saying, okay, why? This beautiful rainbow came. right, I mean, out of nowhere, right in front of me. And historically, every huge decision I've made, there's always been a rainbow. Always been a rainbow. So I just, so from there, I just count it all joy, no matter what it is, because it always works out. And so that's
it's because you bring the rainbow.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I could go for that.
Manifest. I mean, I didn't believe too much into spirituality and manifesting before I've become, I think, belief. And regardless of where you get belief and faith from.
That's true.
Like we're all different.
We're all different.
And we all have a right to believe what we believe as long as it doesn't cause harm upon anyone else in belief. I think my question for you is like, as a parent, when things fell apart, like, how did you wake up and say, the world needs me, all the people that I love need me? Like, how did you, what did that look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hope it's okay for us to.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Is this something that you share?
Not a lot, but I'm willing to. Not a lot because I'm willing to, because I know for a certainty, if the things like in Good Money Multiplier, the things that now I want to bring to other entrepreneurs, and it was one of the reasons why I wanted to push it, because if I hadn't had a foundation, if I hadn't had systems and my organization in point, there is no way that I could I would have lost it all. Right? My husband, who worked for someone, he had to go back to work. Well, I wasn't in the mindset to go back to work, but I was a business owner, right? I had teams that I could say, I need you to do this, handle this, or they just knew what to do because I wasn't talking, right? But it all made a difference having that, what I talk about in Good Money Multiplier, what we teach. It was a game changer for me because I didn't have to go right back to work, right? I had systems in place. I could grieve, the loss of my baby. And I did, and that was one of the things that I was very adamant in, is that I never felt anything like this. But I'm allowing myself to feel it because I don't ever want to feel it again, right? And I was at the point where, what is the lesson in this? So that's me. That's a me thing, right? I always try to find what is the lesson in this encounter, and what you're going through, who you meet. And sometimes it's just may not be much, and sometimes there's layers to it, right? So, and that was my thing. And I just wanted to know, because that's how my experience with my higher power, right, has evolved in my life. And when I look and see what is the lesson, and if I learn that lesson, I tend not to go through it anymore. When I don't learn the lesson, I find it coming up again. And so now I just embrace that. What is the lesson? What can I learn? Who am I supposed to help, assist, or just be? And sometimes as I mature and grow, I'm learning that in life. So.
Because I sell money for a living, I connect with what you said. It actually, having positioned yourself with systems, processes, having worked your ass off to build what you did.
Oh, yes.
It gave you the opportunity at a very difficult moment in your life for you to actually grieve and not lose yourself.
And not lose myself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not a person of, I don't get speechless. I don't know what to say. Like, it's incredible to, for you to be able to sit here 2 years later and not, that's power.
Yes.
That's power within, because you've taken the time to really dig in. And what advice would you give to a parent that's going through that, right now, that their world is falling apart? Because they're experiencing, because it is life. The sad part is
it's life.
It's life. There is
Unfortunately, so it is
sucks.
life.
It's life.
Yep. And that was one of the things I had to realize, wait a minute. I mean, it was one moment I had an epiphany. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm my main thing I kept saying is, Lord, I want my baby back. I want my baby back, right? I want my baby. The last words we spoke, she was like, "Oh, Mom, take me with you. I wish I could go." Right? The last thing we said. And so, and for me, is I kept saying, Lord, I know you don't make any mistakes, but I want my baby back. And so after a while, I just had to really realize that she had rendered obedience to Christ, and she's she got the reward that we're all living for. So then I felt like how selfish was I to keep asking for her back when the whole point was to stand before the Lord, right, and say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And I say that because, oh my goodness, at Amira's funeral and leading up to it, there was stories and letters and Facebook messages and texts over and over from young adults who would say, while I met your daughter at a store and I didn't have this and she made sure I had it. This one letter came, a young woman said, I met Amira at school and I was living under a bridge, and there would be days that she would sneak us into the house. Now I knew it, but she would sneak me into the house because I had nowhere to stay, and she would even give me the clothes off her back. I mean, over and over. So she had this like ministry happening that we didn't even know about, And so the more I heard that, the more I would say she was working, right? She was doing her purpose in this world. Not only just the joy she brought to us, right? And Amira, to know us, we little firecrackers, right? We all are firecrackers.
No.
So she truly was a firecracker in her own right? And daddy's little girl, right? Just she had a daddy wrapped around her fingers. And but the more and more that I seen that, it just gave me calm. So your question was like, what would be the advice, right, to a parent? It was just that it does get better. It does get better. I heard someone tell me that and I couldn't believe it, but it does get better. Now, the sting gets better. Right? The sting, it just doesn't sting like you feel, but it does get better. Now the hole's always going to be there, right? I don't care what happens. There is never will be another Amira Denise. And, but yet it gets better. You see their purpose. You see whatever, and you just are thankful for the little time you had, right? To me, 20 years was not enough. 20 years was not enough. We should have been able to walk her down the aisle. We should have be able to see her graduate from medical school. Now, this young lady, from the time she was 2, 3, she would walk around with a medical coat on. So for Halloween, she always wanted to be a doctor. For whatever it is, like whatever we're doing, it was always that. And when I tell you, like, it was just her innate gift. Like, she would be able to talk. She had flashcards and all of them. I mean, she knew everything, about the body, from your vessels, from your bones, you name it. And I'm like, wow. So to me, some days I'm very upset. I feel like I got robbed of that, right? And so that still happens. You still go through that, and then, but for me though, I also know that it gets better. It gets better. So just trust and know that it does get better. Yeah.
Consuela, that's I think the most beautiful part of that is that you're raising your granddaughter. Isn't that incredible? Like,
yes. Now that is incredible. That's incredible.
It's a beautiful.
Oh man, it is. But and even that was a lesson for us as a family, because I really went through this thing where I was a mother at 16 and then again at 19.
Okay.
Right. So now I literally was just looking for my convertibles, right? My 2-seater cars, and embracing being a grandmother. I already had 3 grandchildren, so she's the 4th one.
Okay.
And I love being a grandmother, right? A lot of people say, you don't look like you should be a grandmother.
I was going to say you're too young to be a grandmother,
Thank you. Right? That's some good genes I come from.
Great genes.
Good genes. And so, so even for a moment there again, I'm like, I don't want to be a mother again, right? I raised my children. I want to be a grandmother. I was because that's a whole different dynamics, right? Going back and without even sharing that to anyone. That was me and my conversation in my private closet, right? And with the Lord. And it wasn't a couple weeks later, my oldest daughter, Michelle, says, she had her son. She has my only grandson, Michael. And And he's just a ham. Oh, he's amazing on so many levels. But she had said that, you know what, Mom, I think she had shared with her and Amira had talked one time, and they were like, anything ever happened to us, we'll take care of each other's children.
Oh.
I didn't know that, right? And she said, I want her to be with us, during the week, and then during the weekends, you guys. So we worked it out. So literally every weekend, I have my grandson and my granddaughter, and during the week, they're with Michelle. And that worked, that really worked on so many levels. So we just make it work. We just make it work. So
the Hopkins family. That's cool. Forget. And you haven't even gotten to the what an elite entrepreneur she is. Holy smokes. So this has made your family dynamic even.
It definitely made us closer.
Yeah.
It definitely made us closer. More aware. I think we.
How is your family better today? Because
I think we're better today because now, we truly live life one day at a time.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and say that again.
Oh my gosh, we live life one day at a time, and I'm even at the point I was sharing with the Lord earlier. Like I'm moment by moment. Like, which way should I go? What should I do? How, what? Because it's less of me trying to figure things out and just being who I am, right? And not doing so much. So I think for us as a family, we hadn't experienced death a lot, so now we know that it can happen and that, just not to take one another for granted. Right. And so we just enjoy each other, not perfect people. Right. And I love that about us, because we all are so different, and to know each one of us got this strong personality. Right.
If they're related to the Hopkins, they got a strong personality. I don't think you can survive in your family.
That's true. That is so true. And so that is what I'm grateful for. Yeah. We really, I see them for who they are and not who I wanted them to be.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
You didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Oh my goodness.
You went there.
Oh, I went there.
How did you do that? What's your husband's name?
Alfonso. His name is Alfonso.
Okay. Shout out to Alfonso. What was it? Was there ever a discussion with you and Alfonso in regards to you were going to embrace your children for who they are?
No, because I think And in the beginning, and I think even for me, I'm going to speak for me, before this, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
My children are very entrepreneurial spirited. And so I try to, allow them to be. But at the same time, I feel like I've treasured this groundwork for them, right? And I know how tough it is, right, for young Black children in America and trying to do the right thing. And so for me, I started this accounting firm. It was a family accounting firm, right? Giving them opportunities and looking at their skill set and creating a business. That's what I do. That's my gift, right? I have a gift to look at your skill set and help you figure out how to make money from it. And so, but for a long time, what I realized was that I still was some kind of way pushing them to what I wanted them to do and not who they were.
When did you realize that?
With the passing of Amira.
Really?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Oh snap! This just happened recently.
This is recently.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
This is recently.
All right, this is journey of parenting. You know what? I don't feel guilty. I'm like, oh man, I've really fucked up a lot with my kids.
Oh my gosh, no, just recently, and I was like, just let them be. And it wasn't so much even standing.
Yeah,
because they're adults, they're young adults, but still wanted. I have my little say so too in different things. And then finally, I realized, girl, you got some amazing children. Leave them alone. Because it was always, well, don't do this. Be sure about the things a mother would do, right? Trying to protect them some kind of way. And that's all it was. I felt like how do I protect them? And then still get them to to be what I see in them. You know, as a parent, you see that goodness and you want to be able to really see that. But then after that, I was like, they're going to be fine. If I'm fine, when I done came through in life, they fine. They'll be fine. And I've enjoyed them even more since then. Even more so. So, yeah.
It's too impressive. You gotta love her. You gotta love her. Let's jump into entrepreneurship. Okay. And before we get into all this success and all the results, what inspired you? You know, so you said you were a mom, younger in life. How come you decided to go down the path of, hey, you know what? I think it's much, much better for me to go work for myself so I have no life and I get paid less than I've ever had before. Sounds great. Let me sign up for this.
Oh, my God.
How did you come up with that decision?
Oh, my gosh. So I am fortunate, I should say, that my mom was an entrepreneur. Still my brother.
Okay.
My grandfather and his brother had their own transmission, shop all my life.
Got it.
And so I've seen that. But one thing I did know, I kept saying, I want to work smarter, right? Because all I've seen them do was always work. They always worked. And but things somehow had time for us. And so but for me, I graduated from college, was not easy. Started working in corporate America at the bank and at a well-known bank in our community. But just started understanding my worth. Does that make sense?
It does.
I started understanding my worth.
How old were you when you understood your worth?
Ooh. So late 20s.
Okay.
Yep, I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
And I mean, for me, like I was bringing in $1 million clients, and
so were you in sales?
I was in sales.
Okay, so you're a sales through and through. I can tell.
Yes, I didn't really know that, but man, I was blessed to go through It had a corporate management program.
Okay,
so as I trained as a manager in all 18 different departments throughout the bank. I didn't know the bank had 18 different departments at that time, and so but. I would shine in each one of them, right? I just knew, I just get money and how it flows sometimes. But corporate financial analyst I love that one. I really love corporate, when you give companies, $1 billion loans, right? Analyzing their bank statements and just working with the corporate. I love
You're
that.
just soaking it up at that point. You're you're geeking out.
I'm geeking out.
I can tell you're geeking out. I just saw excitement. She's like, I'm consuming the numbers, the math, how it works.
I loved it.
I sell money for a living. I got that look. I get it.
So
I know.
But at the same time, I would go through things where I didn't get a raise because. Now, remember, I'm a single parent.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a raise because my supervisor said she heard me speaking slang to a young couple.
Okay.
And I'm like, I wasn't speaking slang, as you would call it. I'm speaking their language.
Yeah.
I'm giving a young couple a loan for the first time. You know what I mean? But I'm making sure they understand what this means to them, their life, their credit, and if they do this right, how it would change. Well, they're not going to understand the 4 C's or the 6 C's and all that. That wasn't a conversation. I spoke to them in their language. And so I sat back and thought, wow, I'm not going to get a raise. Now, and on top of this is like 6 months later from that, but she remembered that conversation. And I had her pull up. I'm like, but look at their track record. They have not been late. Right. Matter of fact, they're paying on time. They brought their family. I mean, so it was just this, I should have been getting celebrated for what I did.
1,000%.
And now I'm getting punished.
1,000%.
And I'm getting punished. And I got 2 babies at home. And I remember that. I still got 2 children at home and I'm raising and by myself at the time. And so I was like, my goal had always been first, I wanted to start a bank. And before I did the bank, I said, I'm going to start an accounting firm so I can make the money to start a bank. And it was just something was just pulling me like, this is just time. It's just time for you to go full-fledged. And when I tell you, I got a lot of flack from my family. Oh, you're the first one in corporate America with this good job, right? You sure you want to start your own company? But I knew it. I just knew everything in me. I knew it was time to start my own accounting firm. And
was there a book or a leader or someone that just Like, was there someone that you were looking as a mentor that's like, if you want to live the life you want to live,
Nope, not
you
at
can't
that
work.
time.
You just, it
Not at
just,
that
it was
time.
instinctive. You're like, I'm done with this.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done. And
Because you weren't celebrated and appreciated for the impact you were making on lives.
right. At all. In no kind of way.
A bank is not a bank. Okay. And this is, I don't know what your take is on this. What is your thoughts about, are banks created to help people or are banks created to make money?
Oh, they're created to make money. Oh, and I've seen that very clearly. Definitely not to help people. And still to this day, you know, I think
Is it any different today?
It's no way.
It's worse.
It's even worse. Because now they're taking all the banks out of the communities, right? To really, need to have personal bankers and to do banking. Right. So no, it's definitely not. And then they hold your money. I heard someone say the other day they're plenty of money in the account.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to hold this check. Well, we know they hold the check because they get to use that money and make money from it. So, but anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah. I think that is the story.
Yes.
I think, the story is, and we're going to take a pause in a second, but the story is what you just said, which is, the people that are here to supposedly help you get access to money so you can create the life that you envision, your happiness, whatever you define that.
Absolutely.
You would think that someone that you're helping make money would help you understand money.
Wouldn't you think?
You would think.
You would think.
But it's not true.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Because banks are not here to make things easy for you to understand.
No.
They're here to make things very, very complicated. So that way you don't know what questions to ask.
You don't even know what questions to ask.
And then when someone helps you out, they take away your raise.
There you go. Right. Absolutely. And there was my life. And I knew then that I was going to still. So I started my company part-time. And when I tell you there was trial after trial after trial, and I just knew to keep going. I mean, just trial after trial. And now 30 years later, I still feel 30, but 30 years later.
Yeah. Your spirit is young. So late 20s, I'm done. The banking industry doesn't appreciate me whatsoever. They don't care about me helping people. This isn't the way I want to do business. What goes next?
Oh, what goes next? So, I started part-time. I started my accounting firm part-time.
So you kept your job?
Kept my job.
Okay. Kept the job.
Yes.
Didn't quit.
No.
Okay.
No, because the reality of it is you still had to have funding, right? To start a business, there's so many people now that you need to be able to still seed your business, right? You still got to have some money coming in for whatever's needed, marketing, right? For computers, whatever, staplers, pens, supplies. And so just being smarter, and I didn't want that stress of, because I say at times it's hard to make money when you're stressed about money, right? But when you just let it go, it comes. And so all that being said, still working part-time. Working full-time at the bank, part-time in my company.
Yeah.
And
life is looking great. 2 young kids, single mom. Get it.
Man. But here it is. So I tell you, it just was a lot of obstacles in the very beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, from everyone saying, are you sure you're going to quit this good job? Because that was the goal. I knew then that, okay, I'm going to start part-time, build up my clientele. I'm working from home. And at the time, I have this ranch-style home. So the lower level, which was like our entertainment family room area, is where I set up my office. And looked just like a regular office. But we're out in the country. And we had the water was on septic. We have a septic, right? So there was a power outage that morning. Got up, no power, so we're literally, so water's going out when there's no power. And go to work though. We manage it. We get some water. We boil it. We do all we had to do. Get ready, leave for the day. I come back.
Oh, no.
The power's back on.
Okay.
Someone left the water on in the upstairs just totally everything underneath, all my computers, the file cabinets, you name it. I mean, everything is soaked. I mean, just soaked.
No.
Just soaked.
No.
And I hadn't even started yet. Just soaked everything. Files, the supplies, everything. So that year, my first year in business, I had to start business from my kitchen table. Tell you, just keep going. The opportunity is in the show up. And my goodness, when I tell you, I got clients now that will come and say, you remember when you started from your kitchen table? Yes, I do. Right? And so just keep going when you know that you have a passion. And that's how I was. It was like, okay, this doesn't mean quit. Because I could have took it that could have been
I was gonna ask, how come you didn't quit?
I could have, but it was, what's the alternative? What is the solution? Mm-hmm. And I felt like in those beginning years, it was always the question of, I felt like I was always being questioned about how much do you really want it? Right? Because every year was something. So then the next year, it was, technology, learning technology, and the technology goes out. First day to e-file. Got all these clients lined up, right? And the router goes out. I don't know anything about routers. I'm learning all of this. But, right, just kept going. Just kept persevering. Who does know? Who has the answer, right?
Ooh,
and so...
There you go. Yes. Asking yourself questions.
Yeah.
Were you asking questions out loud?
I do.
You do?
I do.
Okay, talk to me about that. I've started doing that recently, and it's very powerful. I mean, you sound silly. You look silly. And you're like, oh.
But I do, because I hear it, right? And then I always say, well, back then I didn't know. Now, that's one thing about being seasoned, right? And being confident in who you are, whose you are. Because now, when I say it in the atmosphere, when I say it, pronounce it, I know what's happening. And I also know that every time I have a problem now, or an issue or something to solve, that there's someone that has the answer. I'm telling you, and that's what I look for. And here it is, right?
Well, how do you find problem solvers? You have 30 years of experience being a successful entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. How do you know whether someone is a problem solver?
How do you know if someone's a problem
or a problem identifier?
I find, honestly, the difference is just in their attitude, right? Just their attitude. You
got a good laugh out of that.
I hear you. I hear you. But it's in their attitude. It's in their attitude. If you're a problem solver, you're going to look for the good in it. What's the solution, right? Just that in itself, you want to find something to solve, right? To put out a fire maybe for someone. I felt like I was always putting out fires in my younger career. And now I just, grab some fire hose.
Now you're starting fires.
Now I'm starting them.
Look at our outfit, folks. Fire waiting to be started. I love that everything around like your entrepreneurship journey involves people. Mm-hmm. Everything is about people. Like you started being an entrepreneur because the bank didn't want you to treat people like people. Mm-hmm. That's fascinating.
True. Yeah. Wow, I never seen it. I never even thought of it like that, but that's so true. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that brought up a story I hadn't shared in forever, it seems like. Look at you.
That's what we do here. That is what we do. Trigger.
Oh my God. So I'm in college, senior year. I believe it was my senior year, because I was on the accounting association. I was the president of the accounting association at IU. And all these accountants were coming into, our meetings. Would invite them to speak about something. And they all had on, I'm not joking, they all had on, black suits, white shirts. The women had very long dresses, black. And over and over and over. And all of a sudden, I just had a moment. I called my mom and I'm bawling. And she's like, babe, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't do this. I don't think I can be an accountant anymore. She said, but it's what you love. What do you mean? I said, I'm nothing like them. They're boring. They don't want to talk to you. They're not listening. I said, I want color and life. I want to talk to my clients. I want to know what they're thinking and help them figure out how to get to the next level. I'm just having a moment. I'm breaking down. And my mom, she starts cracking up. She starts laughing at me. And I'm looking at the phone like, here, I'm having a moment. She says, sweetie, you're going to start your own accounting firm. She reminded me of my goal. She said, you're going to start your own accounting firm. So if you want to have color, you be color. If you want to talk to your clients and find out what their needs are and what they're doing, you talk to your clients. And I know that's why I've been in business for 30 years, because I came with a different, everyone says, my other accountant never talks to me, and so that's been my secret sauce, right? Being who I am, right? And allowing that to be. And most accountants could only either know the accounting, but I also understand the tax side of it. So I'm blessed to be able to see it coming and going. And it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And even being able to embrace that.
You're a beautiful person.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know what? Like, your business isn't about making money. Like, you're great at it, but that's not your business. Your business is people.
It's the people.
Your business is people.
It's the people.
And you take that to your industry.
Yeah.
You want to guess the grain. That's scary.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I do well.
Where's the scary road? Show me the scary road. The younger people that you employ today. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's dive into that. How have you seen work ethic change over the past 5 years?
Oh, it has really changed. I've seen it maybe even 10. I mean, it's just really changed from...
Yeah, in a good way or not productive way?
For me, I found in a not productive way. Okay. In the sense that I do know that my companies themselves probably would have been bigger and larger if... just the work ethic. It's been really, really hard finding people who want to come to work on time. Okay. Right. And then show up. So
what does on time mean?
So on time, if I believe, and it was raised, that if you're supposed to be at work at 9, then at least get there by 9:15, because then that's when you talk to your coworkers, right? And that's when you make your coffee and do all those different things. But when it's time for you to, if you're on the phone, so if you're a receptionist, at 9 o'clock, you should be ready to do your job. You should be ready to perform. And I'm all about flexibility and meeting people where they are, And so I always ask everybody, like, how much do you want to make? What's your number, right? And what do you envision? What's your ideal scene? Like, what do you see work being for you? And I try, and if they fit into our mode, then I'll allow that. But in the midst of that, then you need to show up and perform whatever your job is when you're there. And I am finding more and more individuals are just, I don't know where it came from, but it's almost, I want to check without having to work, right? And that's a lot of been with I would say the work ethic has just changed a lot. Meaning when we would do interviews and people would come, it's an accounting firm, it's a professional company with flip-flops and t-shirts. And I'm like, where do we get to this? Now, I'm okay with if that's what we decided, that's what we're going to do, right? But no.
You earned that right to make that decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's your...
Right. Our company.
It's your baby.
It's our baby. And so now, though, after COVID, and the virtual world has, caused so many things. Some of it I do like. Like, I like that COVID allowed us to, women, men, having children around, right? It's not an inconvenience anymore. And I like that. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
And for me, I love that. I embrace that, because even a lot of time, I may be on a Zoom call and someone is like, their kids is playing or running around or something. And, I'm so sorry. Don't do that, right? Don't do that. It's okay. Because it opened up, this is what life is for, what is for us. And let's just embrace what it is, not make up this make-believe thing of what it needs to be. right? So now, let's say someone may come to an interview with flip-flops and tennis shoes. I look past that and really understand and see what do they really have to offer? Who are they, right? Again, being able to look at someone for truly who they are and not what I need them to be, And so it's been...
And that's your evolution as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Times change.
My goodness. Oh,
You've seen a lot of change.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the good money multiplier.
Yes.
That's the next. That's your next.
That's the next for me because...
How come? Before we get into what's next, how come you decided this has to happen?
Ooh. Okay. I decided that this had to happen because there were just too many, for me, Black and brown communities that was just so systematically targeted and underserved economically, to where it was like, and it's all basic knowledge. It really is. But if you're not taught something, you don't know, right? Then I was learning in my company, I have an accounting firm, just how many people were established. I mean, again, I got clients all over the world. And purposeful, I kept it to where, some clients may make $2,000 a year to those that make $2 million a year, right? It was very different and diverse. But again, people are people, business is business. The same things they're going to need no matter where they are in the spectrum. So for me, when I was just realizing that a lot of people really don't know how to do business and what business means. And I want to make sure that we kept a standard of business, right? That we treated each other right. So I've seen too many things that were shifting, that we knew that when you shook somebody's hand or you had to write a contract, you honor your contract. But I wasn't hearing anybody really talking about things like that. You know what I mean? And so for me, just wanting to make sure that when my grandchildren into the world of entrepreneurship, that it still had some characteristic to it and some honor, if you will, that it was still good to be. And I know if you don't fight for those things, if you don't stand for those things, then you'll let anything happen. So for me, that was my why. You know why? Because I knew that I could see from birth they were entrepreneurs, right? And I knew there was a need, a problem to solve. So why not? I was raised, if you see a problem, you become the solution.
So you saw a huge gap in financial education?
Yes.
And literacy?
Yes.
You're solving it. And how is the good money multiplier doing that?
Well, I believe and I know for a certainty that entrepreneurship is a game changer. I looked at my community and I realized that there was a lot of things that we needed to do to really grow and level out that divide. And at the time, I mean, I literally could live anywhere in the world that I wanted. I did things smart. Right. I made sure that, we were comfortable, not perfect, not, rich, if you will, whatever that means. But, I could, if living life on my terms, I said, I can live anywhere. But my grandparents, my parents, I had good clients, that were in this community that all of a sudden I realized that we're living in a food desert. There's a housing desert. The divide was like, we got to do something about this. And entrepreneurship, for one, in entrepreneurship, there's more entrepreneurs that hire and provide jobs than most corporate jobs do, right? Life-changing jobs, right? That makes a difference in people's lives. And so just knowing that, and I know I was good at business and I'm good at money. So those two together, right? I thought I can be an answer to individuals to really help them, what I say, economically stabilize their lives to economic prosperity.
Yeah.
And that's that's the goal. That's the goal. And I think I mentioned earlier, and I sprinkle a little soul into that, right? Of some of that goodness into it. Because again, if you get someone's character, they're so correct. Right? Where you know it's okay to do right by others. When you know it's right, when you're doing business, you got to do right. Whether you got to take a loss or not, your word is your word and do right by people. When you understand that, because it always comes back, and you learn to make money, and you're doing your purpose, right? I really look down into what is somebody's purpose, their distinct natural ability, their DNA. Oh, I mean, that was to me when I worked through all this and really seen that the formula I was creating, I'm like, this has to go to the masses.
When was the moment you're like, I'm onto something? Like there's something here and I got to get this out.
It's been brewing for at least 2006. For me, 2000.
Wow.
Yeah, 2006.
Wow.
Yes.
When did it come to fruition?
Let's see. Maybe about 6 years ago, I started working through it and it's really evolved. Yeah, it really evolved because, I had a piece here, like the financial piece and the tax piece, right, and the accounting. And then I'm also a real estate developer. And so then I had the real estate.
Oh, you are a real estate developer.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
real estate is my love language.
Okay. All right.
And I have to show you one day. The Village is our next project. It's 130,000 feet. Square footage of amazing, awesome. What we're doing. But so in that real estate, I also wanted to make sure that, we're providing quality housing, that we're also providing just space, commercial space that, not just my community, right there in South Bend, Indiana. But what I realized, it was that we call it Swalesville. My youngest son calls it Swalesville. It's a community. That there were Swalesville communities all over the world that needed, again, healing. That's what it was. I felt like our communities need healing. And it's not just only Black and brown, but there's so many just hurt people, so many people that look to the world, right? We talked about that earlier. When I grew up, I didn't know that there were so many unhappy, mean people in the world. Well, we just want to do our part to teach individuals, for one, that when you make money, I've seen money change some people. Having money changes some people, that it doesn't have to change you. It's just currency. It's just paper, right? Don't have a love for it, but I want to teach people how to respect it, how to monitor it, and how to make it, right? And so that's, the basis of Good Money Multiplier.
Got it. So it's basically what you're teaching is how to have a healthy relationship with money.
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So many people just do not have a healthy relationship with money. It changes them one way or the other. If they have it, they're happy. If they don't have it, then all of a sudden the world is falling apart. And that can't be. It should be something that changes the character of who you are. Right? And so, and I understood that's why we deal with the money mindset first, and we call it your money audit, and then your money perception. Where did you get these ideas from? Like, who planted this in your mind to love money, or that you don't have to have it? And my main one that I see is how people of God, like if you're spiritual, you're supposed to be poor, right? But I'm telling you, it's a thing. But that's not true. How you gonna do work broke?
Yeah. Yeah. I what I've learned with sales today, it's like I feel sales has turned into manipulation. Not service. So you mentioned something earlier. You said you can be the change. The change starts within, and that's really, for my industry and profession, I want to be the change of experience. Absolutely. And empower. And I think the biggest compliment I get a lot is, hey, you're our money person. And what they're really saying is like, hey, like when we have a money question, we come to you so we can explain it so we know what questions to ask. That's really what people say.
Is so true.
So how does it make you feel like when people come to you? Because I could see that's who you are. Like I would say a lot of your families reach out to you that you've worked with over the years and they're like, they would give you rave reviews for the impact that you've made their lives. How are you going to continue that and grow that? You've had a lot of success. You have thriving businesses. You're building something brand new. What would make you decide, hey, I'm not done. I'm just getting started?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a great question. My husband asked me that maybe a couple of years
Alfonso's a
ago.
very smart man.
Yeah. But his question was, when is enough enough? Like, And it was, I'm glad he asked that because I had to really think about it because, most people say, just like my first accomplishment or the first company, that was great. Now you're helping heal a community. You're providing residential and you're providing commercial spaces. We got places that entrepreneurs to do business at. I'm finna build, communities. And what I realized, because I didn't answer him quickly, was that when I'm done or when I'm asleep forever is when I'm done. Because what I realize is that this is my life's work, right? We all have a purpose and it's truly a journey. It's not a destination. It's not saying, oh, okay, I helped, 100,000 families, become financially free. That's it. Right. And early on, I thought it was that when I was young.
Okay.
I thought it was like just some number, but what I realized is everything started building on the next. Right. You don't see it. Like I didn't plan this, but I'm so thankful I walked into it. My grandfather, back to my amazing 93-year-old grandfather, Elmo Perry Sr., when I was young and I first started the accounting firm, he would say, back then we had them 10 key calculators. They don't know nothing about that now, right? And he would say, I've never seen anyone multiply like you do. Everything you touch grows or multiplies. When I was young, I didn't understand it. I couldn't even really embrace it. But then when I started realizing and seeing for myself what he was speaking and what was said, hence the good money multiplier. I just started embracing who I am. And that has been very, I don't even know what word I would put on it yet, right? It's good. It's on so many levels to know that in all my flaws, in all my, 1 minute my weight is up and one day it's down, you just all the different things you have in life that and who I am and how I should, I'm enough. I'm enough. And so, and as long as I embrace that, I don't ever want to be done. I don't ever want to be living this life. All right, going back to the word, you asked me about that earlier. And in this book, right, in the book, it talks about those with the talents, right? And I often speak, I remember when I was young, I don't ever want to leave this world not doing all the things that I was created to do. I don't know where it came from, why, but that's just that feeling I've always had in me that, and never would I thought it would be being on podcasts, right? Or different companies, right?
So you didn't see yourself in that chair?
I didn't see this. Look at this amazing place. No, but I'm glad I'm here. And it doesn't surprise me. I'm with good people. Good people need to know good people.
You attract who you are.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, well, I'm blown away. It would be so easy for you, as Alfonso pointed out, do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I busted my ass to get to this point. I don't have to. And starting with the flood, for you not to quit, shit.
Yeah. That would have been a sign.
I was going to say, how is that not a sign for what makes, and this is a beautiful thing, Consuela. I have the honor of sitting in this chair, speaking to people like yourselves, and to a T, every entrepreneur that has ever been self-made will tell you, I've slept in my car, I slept in the office, didn't have food.
Yes.
And I'm like, what in the world are we doing glorifying entrepreneurship? because like it is literally suffering until it becomes good.
That's true. That's true. Mine was a blue chair. Mine was a blue recliner. Not joking, a blue recliner. All tax season, I was sleeping in this blue recliner. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. When I was growing
Because there was no employees.
There was no employees.
You weren't delegate. Hey, Consuela, I need you to get me my coffee. Okay.
Yes.
What are you going to do to get this message out there? To make a difference in the communities that you want to impact. So you mentioned, and kudos to you, because empowerment comes from, a lot of the things that I learned came from my parents, and some parents are educated with regards to, good money, a healthy relationship with money, and some aren't. I think the epidemic we're dealing with right now is entitlement.
Oh my gosh.
So
absolutely.
So that like good times make for soft people.
That's true.
It just is what it is.
That's very true.
And I've come to this realization, like it is my responsibility to show my children, my boys, like what it takes to be hard, which is hard work.
Yes. And responsible.
What does responsible mean to you? I'm curious. What does community responsibility mean for you?
Community responsibility is doing your part.
Okay.
Doing your part. We all have different pieces to the puzzle is how I describe it. We're all different. And so as a track star, right, we were very athletic growing up. And my thing is stay in your lane. Do you. Let me do me. Right. And if we do that and respect one another, everything we need will be covered and taken care of. Right. So let's just say for me as a mother, as a community, I love being in clean, nice places. Right. So if you know that, Miss Consuela likes things clean, then you're not going to just be throwing trash out. Right. And out in the yard or just be tearing up things. Right. Because we're working together. That's what responsibility is, doing your part. And we all know what that is. If we really sit down and talk and listen to ourselves, get quiet, right? Take responsibility and accountability and do your part.
Okay. So you said be quiet, and I'm going to talk on this, okay? Because this is a huge concern of mine that I talk to my boys about, who are all teenagers.
Okay.
We're playing a different game. They're growing up differently.
Yes.
They have their phones.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay. I know. So where I'm going with this is I think there's a lot of things that are in our kids' lives today that are meant to distract them so they don't think for themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I can see it. You can
What
see
is what is your thought on like that quietness?
Quietness is a must. Quietness helps you to see, to hear. And let me tell you why I know about it. My younger years, teenage-ish years, I noticed when I started getting quiet, right? So I was popular, all American, in school, not always the smart. I always had to work hard and everybody else to study. My brother just got it. I had to work hard. But one of the things I realized is that there was this point where I felt I was sabotaging myself, right? And I'm like, why did you make that decision? That was, and I realized I was scared to succeed. I went through this phase. And when I was in that moment was when I wouldn't get quiet, right? Because I knew that, nope, maybe not go hang out with your friends this weekend, right? Maybe you need to go study. Or maybe you need to go, run, whatever it was to practice. Or making better decisions. When I was quiet, I made better decisions, right? And so nowadays, the technology, distractions everywhere. And I heard a gentleman say the other day that he does his best to keep the distractions from his kids. Like they don't even get cars because that's a distraction. You get friends, different friends come along when you got your own car or whatever it is. He said he drives them everywhere still. May feel a little bit entitled, but he takes away the distractions from them. And again, I got these young, beautiful grandchildren, and everyone wants phones or technology, the tablets, the TVs. But when I let them get quiet, so when they come to Sweet G, they call me Sweet G. I'm Sweet G. When they come to Sweet G's house, they know, that we have to have some quiet time. We got to play games. I go old school with them. Let's play matching games. Let's pull out the board games. And when I tell you, they're totally different. I hear them laughing more, right? They're interacting with one another differently. And that goes back to, we got to fight for the things that we want. Yes, technology is good. I have become a millionaire with technology. You know what I mean? Well, I grew up in a world of accounting and taxes when everything was longhand, right? You had to write everything out, right? So, but when computers came, I knew how to do both. I knew how to do both. And so, and remember the era of, oh my gosh, computers are bad for you. They're going, they're of the devil and all that. Anything, I say too much of anything is not good for you.
Truth.
That's real.
Truth.
Too much church is not good for some people. You got to get out in the community and do church, whatever that spiritual thing is, So everything in moderation.
Ooh. Wow.
Everything
Did you just really say that? Like, you got to go apply what you learned in church. That's an interesting way. Like, you're learning lessons.
Yes.
Go apply them in the community. Look at you.
Yeah.
You know what made me think? Like, when you were talking about your grandkids, like, that's when they get to be alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Wow. I didn't even thought of it that way at all. But that's real. That's real.
Well, that was all you. I just took what you said. I'm like, yeah, they learn how to. And I think it's that wisdom. Like, if you never came on. So people ask me about podcasting, and I never would have expected this, because this is the first podcast I've ever done where I'm alone. I'm the solo host.
Okay.
Every other podcast that I had, it was a co-host. And what I've learned about myself, sitting here, being quiet, holy moly.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. I get that. And it's needed. Our children need it. Even more so. I mean, so there's all these different things about, meditating. Mindfulness is a beautiful thing. Mindfulness is a beautiful thing. And we have to teach our children. Yes, they're going to need to know technology. We're in the technology industry age, right?
True.
They're going to need it, right? But again, everything done in moderation. And so, because my concern, as, the grandmother, right? As Sweet G, when technology is really so much domination in their lives, right? And so for one of the older girls, I heard her say one time, well, I don't know if I want to go see Sweet G's because I can't take my phone, right? Because we're not going to be able to be on our phones. And man, I'm like, the phone is getting picked over me. but it was real.
Make you feel, though?
Oh my God.
Okay, do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's
it was heartbreaking. It was hard, like, wow.
We're literally losing connection.
Yep.
And there is a thirst. Okay, I heard the craziest thing. I can't believe you just went there, because now I'm like, whoa. Okay. I heard someone say that people are starving for connection.
I believe that.
How come you believe that?
Being a people person, right? And I love that connection. And what I realize more so now that because people are not connecting, you lose something with that. I mean, you get energy from one another. You get so much from other people. So just like if you take a log out of a fire, after a while, when it's by itself, it starts burning out. And that's how I see people. You know what I mean? When you disconnect too much, who you are in your essence, you right?
Wow.
So we need that. That's why it's so important.
That's a beautiful analogy as far as pulling out a log out of a fire, because it's not as strong as it would be, you know, and you could feel it. You could feel the necessity for connection. Like the divide is growing.
Oh my goodness.
The separation, there's a lot more emotion with the separation.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So in the community, what we've done, we started a neighborhood association because there was not one. And one of our challenges was a wave challenge. People don't even wave anymore. Just waving to one another. You would be so surprised how amazing that was.
Even in the Midwest before?
Even in the Midwest.
No.
Can you believe that? No. Can you believe that? That's
what happened to Southern, what's all this Southern?
No.
Come on.
Yeah, so again, because this disconnect, social media, you're listening to too much of the unfortunate, there's so much negative media and so much negative things that are penetrating people that they buying into it. So again, it's heavy. It's heavy. But I still choose to fight. I don't like when people say, those were the good old days. And I started hearing that too much. Those were the good old days. Those were the good old days. Well, what am I living in? I don't want to live in
the bad old days.
The bad old days.
These are the bad old days. They're not. I think it really is what you said, which is if you see the need for change, do something about it.
Yes. Period.
Do something about it.
Period.
Like all of us have we have brains, we have action, we have the power to get knowledge. Accessibility to knowledge is more available. Like, do you remember going to the library and having to look at when I was in college, like, are you freaking kidding me? To go find a book was like an adventure for an hour.
Just to find the book.
Just to find the book.
Just to find it. Yeah.
Now I can pull up any book online on YouTube, listen to it in like 10 seconds?
There's audio, so it's gonna read it to you. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes.
It's just different.
Yes.
Consuela, it is an absolutely the good money multiplier. We're gonna put all of Consuela's links. Who do you want to thank? Who makes your life better? Who makes your life more worth living even more every single day? Who would you love to thank?
Wow. You know what? I would definitely like to thank, just sincerely thank everyone just in my circle, everyone that's connected to me in a sense of, so now I'm saying pretty much everybody. I'm so thankful for everyone that I'm able to connect with. Because connection is real, and so I'm thankful, of course, for my grandfather and my mom, my dad, and I'm a dad's girl, right? I'm a daddy's girl. My husband, my children, my grandchildren, my team, right? For you guys. And I say that I'm sincere. The lady, I'm not joking, I just met when I stopped at Walgreens. I'm thankful for her today, because you could tell she wasn't having a good day.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? And then to see the smile and her just to say, thank you. Thank you for, not taking my bad day and making it worse. But I thank you for coming through my line or whatever she had said, right? But I'm very thankful. I'm just thankful.
Consuela Hopkins. Yes. We're thankful for her. Like, come on. After this, like anytime she comes back to San Diego, you're always welcome here. I thoroughly, just to give everyone a backdrop, we are in a mastermind group together. And this is the first time I've gotten to know, like really getting to know Consuela, and I'm blown away because what an amazing, incredible human being. Like, if you get an opportunity to connect with her, like, your life will be better. That's what I'm going to share with you. Like, you are just an absolutely powerhouse of a human being.
Thank you.
And just keep spreading that positivity.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the goal.
Let's go.
Let's go. Or what I say is, good money, good money, good money.
Hey, money creates the freedom you want. I'm all in. And she's the person to go to.
I love it.